Hey. Hey, you. Yeah, you, the one who tuned into the Pin Pals podcast. Are you looking to get custom pins made super easy? Are you new to the pin game and don't know where to start? Perhaps you don't even know the difference between soft enamel and hard enamel. Or maybe you're a polished pin maker, you've been in the game for a while, but your current manufacturer just isn't cutting it. Well, I got some good news for you. My friends over at Your Stuff Made can help make you custom pins. They are wizards at this kind of stuff. They work under strict ethical guidelines so you know your pins are being produced clean and safe for the environment. Their team actually cares about what they make. And best of all, they're not a middleman. They have direct access and control over tools, machinery, and resources needed to make enamel pins. So this means super low costs and fast shipping times. They are the real deal. And speaking of deals, you know where I'm going with this. I got one for you. If you order custom pins from Your Stuff Made, you can save 10% off your entire order. And with this inflation going crazy these days, 10% can be huge. Especially if you're new to the pin game, every dollar counts. So all you have to do is visit yourstuffmade.com, fill out a quote, and under the referral section, select the Pin Pals podcast. That'll tell them that I sent you, and that's how you get 10% off all your custom pin orders. Once again, the place to be is yourstuffmade.com. Let them know the Pin Pals podcast sent you. So, what are you waiting for? Start creating today. Hey, hi, hello, and welcome back to the Pin Pals podcast, the podcast about enamel pins and the pin makers behind them. As you can probably see from the title, we have a very special episode lined up for you. A couple months ago, I had the incredible opportunity to interview Kevin Eastman, one of the co-creators of the Teenage Mutant Ninja freaking Turtles. Now, I don't know if you know this, but Turtles. Been a pretty big Ninja Turtle fan for most of my life, so interviewing one of the co-creators is like a pinch me moment. This was a big deal to me. I was super nervous going into the interview. You can definitely hear it in my voice, and if you're on YouTube, you can just see the awkwardness of a kid meeting one of his idols. Like, it was such a surreal moment for me and a monumental one for Warrior Pins. So, without further ado, enjoy my conversation with my newest pin pal, Kevin Eastman.
Look at that backdrop.
Hey, Kevin.
Awesome.
Wow. There you are.
Yeah. Eric, right?
Yeah.
Hi, nice to see you.
Great to see you.
Happy Thursday. What? Is it Thursday? Huh?
Happy Thursday. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yes, happy St. Patrick's Day. Awesome.
Well,
thanks.
I hope you have some good luck coming your way today, tomorrow, the rest of your life.
You as well. Thank you.
So let's just get started. I know your time is very valuable, and you got a bunch of these. So welcome to Pin Pals, Kevin. How's it going?
It's going great. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, this is a huge honor. As you can see, I'm a big fan. I think 3 years old. I was gifted the VHS from the first movie, got some toys for Christmas later that year, and I mean, the rest is like literally on the wall.
Well, I think we're of the same mind as far as the whole collector mentality. I love my toys of all kinds, and I'm fully ingratiated in the genreism of this world we live in and love so much.
I love it. And that's actually a great segue into my first question. So Turtles have been around for forever. You've seen so many different iterations. You've been a part of so many different projects, but specifically the bootleg or the unofficial stuff and all that stuff. I'm sure you've seen lots of like weird, wacky things. I actually paid $50 at a local toy store for this wacky, terrible looking Argentinian Ninja Turtle. So I know as an artist, you can feel a certain way about products being unlicensed and stuff like that. But on the flip side, you can kind of see it as, a community kind of fostering the turtles and keeping them alive during a lull period. Just kind of wanted to get your thoughts on that.
It's really interesting, and I understand the business mentality of the I don't say rip off or the unlicensed or the unauthorized stuff, but but I don't know. I love it. I've got a bunch of it around here somewhere. I think it's really funny. Some of it just because it's really bizarre, and you appreciate the sort of the homemadeness of it, and the oddities of it. I think are funny. But it's an interesting side story or directly related story. When we did a convention in Russia, of all places, great people, really wonderful people in St. Petersburg. Back at the time when the Turtles first came out, they couldn't get licensed or authorized comics or toys or anything, so they just made their own. So the first time we went to St. Petersburg, we did this great event with these really wonderful people, and they brought up the first book was like a hardcover of Turtles fighting Alien, like from the movie Alien, and Turtles fighting Batman and this stuff. And these were these full books that were mostly prose, and they had illustrations in them. But from that, unauthorized homage to all things Turtles, they still fell in love with the Turtles, and they were huge fans from since they were kids, and have since been able to get some of the more licensed stuff. But I just thought, that how it transcended from sort of a completely unauthorized vision or version of the Turtles into this, it still created a fan base that were willing to stand in line and see me. So I thought that was pretty awesome.
That's pretty cool. Wow. Russia of all places too. How funny is that?
Great, really nice people. It was really fun.
Yeah, that's cool. So do you have any other like notable knockoffs or unauthorized stuff that kind of just like stand out in your head? Anything in your collection, maybe?
Yeah, I have some stuff. It was like a few odds and ends. One was like it was called the Masked Warrior, and it was like they made it out of this really cheap plastic solid piece of turtle. It was all the wrong colors, so it had like a pink like a yellow bandana or a pink bandana before those even existed, and the wrong nameplate. And then there was one a friend brought back from Tijuana many years ago that was a ceramic, like something you might paint at a ceramics class here in the States. And it was just totally, it was a mutated turtle. It was really, really funky looking, but I love this stuff. I think it's really fun.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. So this is an enamel pin related podcast. I talk to lots of pin makers and stuff like that. We have great conversation. So I wanted to get your thoughts on enamel pins just as an art form. What do you think of that?
I love them. I think it's fantastic. I mean, it's, if I could spin this around, my wife has two huge cork boards up here of all pins that she's collected. That's kind of a thing we started doing very early on, is whether it's going to, Disneyland or Universal Studios or any comic conventions all over the world, we've collected pins and put them up and save them. But as an art form, it's exquisite. It's beautiful. And I think it's very unique as a collectible item. Much like a rare comic or a toy or something like that you add to your love of passion of collecting and of certain characters. So I think it's a real treat. I think it's a hoot.
That's cool. I just gotta flaunt some of the pins that I've been able to make.
That's awesome. Yes, that's awesome. And I think, I love it. I think it's also, it's an art form that you can actually, it's not that difficult to create on your own too, which I think is even cooler.
Yeah, it was just a huge learning curve and stuff like that. And I have another board just full of a bunch of other like Ninja Turtle pins that I just collected through the years, been part of the pin community for, I think, going on 6 years now. So I met a lot of people. I talked to a company called BB Create, and they had like a little interaction with your wife, Courtney, and just getting pins that I think both you guys were at the same convention or something like that. Definitely. But, so I wanted to ask you, were there any pins in particular that you guys collect? Maybe aside from turtles or stuff like that.
Yeah, lots. I mean, and everything ranges. It's sort of some specific, like my wife was a fan of like She-Ra and the old Scooby-Doo and certain characters, pins, that kind of genre stuff. But it's just sort of ones that we think are neat. I mean, you can go from you get Walking Dead and Game of Thrones and just about every comic character that ever existed, and then the oddities and the fringe ones. But yeah, that was so it's a pretty wide ranging mentality in that if it's cool, then that's good enough. And if it finds its way onto the board, and then, we love the commemorative, like San Diego Comic-Con would do a commemorative pin every year, or for the couple times, pre-COVID when we would go around Disney, they had these wonderful stations, which so we became obsessive. These stations at different locations throughout the park that you could get new pins specific to that area or something that was exclusive or something, and then you could trade them in and do stuff. So it was a fun experience, and I think it's a fun thing to collect for sure.
That's really cool. All right, next question. We're just going to jump right into it.
Sure.
I'd love to know maybe what is the biggest lesson you've learned as a direct result from all the success and the fame that you've achieved throughout the years?
It's maybe it's been said by a lot of different people, but I feel like it is very true in the point of be true to yourself, because it's really easy to be distracted and easy to get to sort of yanked this way and that way when you've had success. But it's, anytime that I would sort of kind of go off the rails a little bit, and the reality of having a great family and an upbringing that, keep you sincere and true, is that, when I was very young, I wanted to draw comic books for a living, and that's all I wanted to do, was a dream. So the fact that I've been lucky enough to fulfill that childhood dream, even today at 60 years old, to be drawing every day and working on a craft and an art form that I love so much, is such a gift and a blessing. You really have to, not lose sight of that. So it's, I know there's a lot of people that look to follow those kinds of dreams and aren't as lucky as I am. And that's even, more humbling. So it's be true to yourself, stay true to your dreams. And then, and I offer that up to young people that ask me for, well, how do I get from this side of the table where I'm asking you for an autograph to the other side of the table? And I said, it can be a long and challenging road. And there's a lot of obstacles in your way, but you gotta, stick to it. If it's, if you're into music, if you're into sports, you're into writing, into comics, into, any form of, something you're passionate about, you got to do it every day, and you got to stick to it, and don't let, life and people dissuade you from, your passion for what you truly love. So stick with it, be true to yourself, be honest, work hard.
I love it. I'm going to have to just clip that little part out and just kind of replay it when I'm having a bad day or something like that. That's great. So the last question, I love ending the podcast by asking this question. So I'm sure you're familiar with the phrase, it's the little things in life. Everyone has like their own like little quirks and stuff like that. So I'd love to know from the man, the myth, the legend himself, Kevin, what are the little things in life for you?
Oh man, and there's a million of them, and I love it. Just the fact that whether it's family time that my wife and Courtney and I share with our son, to we've got two 15-year-old wiener dogs that sort of stumble around the house. They're losing their sight and their teeth, and we just love that they're still happy and we can take care of them. So it's lots of little things that make. Take away from some of the big things you might be stressing on. So it's like, look for those moments of happiness, cherish those moments of happiness, and make the most of them, because it means a lot. It's a little things can make a difference in your day, and just, being nice to people. To me, that's a little thing that, a lot of people forget. A please and a thank you, even to, your wife or your family, it goes a long way. To somebody you don't know, being polite and offer up a smile and that kind of stuff goes a good long way to changing somebody's day, including yourself. So,
oh, I appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Absolutely, very, very much enjoyed talking to you. I love your backdrop. That's really awesome. I really appreciate your support and as a fan, and it was great talking with you today.
Yeah, thanks again for your time. It was awesome. Hopefully, I'll get to meet you at a con or something like that, because I have a couple of blank comics that I'd love to get sketched by you.
Awesome.
But until then, I hope you have a great rest of your day, great rest of your year. Good luck with the last Ronin, the last issue, and everything. Wish you nothing but happiness and success. You and Courtney and your pups.
Thanks. And again, I appreciate you brought up the conventions. We're excited that we're going back out on tour this year for the first time since 2020. So just telling the fans that if you want to find out where we are, what we're doing, go to kevineastmanstudios.com. It's on my fan site. You can see us. You can find out what we're up to, what's going on, and what kind of pins we're offering for sale up there as well. So,
well, I'll be there. New Hampshire, I think so. I'm going to try and make it out there.
All right. Cheers, man.
All right. Take it easy. Cowabunga.
Thank you.
Bye.
Cowabunga.
Oh my God. And there it is, my interview with Kevin Eastman. It was wild, right? Like, I still can't get over it. I was able to get his thoughts on the bootleg culture. Got to talk about enamel pins and pins as a form of art. And more importantly, finding out what the little things in life are for a legend like him. Like, I don't know if it could have gone any better, honestly. If you enjoyed this conversation, definitely let me know by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts or a comment on the YouTube video. You could send me DMs on Instagram or Twitter. Also, you could, just straight up email me. thepinpalspodcast@gmail.com is the email. But if you find yourself asking, hey, that was awesome, I want to do more to support the podcast, what can I do? Well, let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between, you are in luck. You can go ahead and visit buymeacoffee.com/pinpalspodcast, and you're going to find a bunch of different ways that you can support the podcast. You can buy me a couple cups of coffee, or you could become a monthly supporter and unlock rad perks and rewards, like access to our Bumpin' Discord community, just full of pin makers. Or, you could get access to our virtual happy hours, which is another really awesome perk. Really fun. We just had a happy hour last week, and it was just, just a good time. Just lay back, hang out, and just, chat with pin makers. Thinking about doing it on a bi-weekly basis. So stay tuned for that. More updates and things like that go directly to the Buy Me a Coffee supporters. So if that interests you, the link again is buymeacoffee.com/pinpalspodcast. All right, I got a jet, but it was a pleasure. I'll see you guys next week for another episode of the Pin Pals Podcast. Peace.